Hello, today we continue our survival in RimWorld with the surgeon's colony. Let me remind you that in this scenario we survive for psychopathic surgeons who earn money by selling the organs, skin and meat of all enemies or just independent people who got on our map. At the same time, we do not touch people from friendly faction at all, because we need to conduct trade with at least someone. I think there is no need to delay the introduction. You are on the Johny Play channel. I wish you a good viewing, like, write a comment so that the video gets into the recommendations, and also subscribe to the channel. And here we go. First of all, it is worth noting that in this series I paid a lot of attention to the development of our colony and the research of new technologies. Because very soon we will begin to be stormed by quite strong opponents, among whom, of course, there will be mechanoids who with the combat extended mode become too serious enemy. Since I really was be very much afraid and ready for their attack. I also ordered my best crafter to make steel helmets for all of my colonies to protect them from random bullets that will fly into their heads. At some point I realized that we don't have much steel, and because of this I paid attention to the fact that the colonies began to extract steel from the nearest deposit. Finally, we have researched combat light turrets. It is time to install them right away, and I hope to be able to test them in action in the near future. Right on the territory of our base there is a rather large deposit of silver. So I decided that it would be very good to extract all the minerals that come out. In general, we don't have big problems with money, and plus we can always sell organs to buy almost everything we need. But as they say, money is never superfluous. Also, a husky dog fell from the sky, which I decided to rescue and tame if possible. Because in general, additional paws that can carry sins and wounded people will not hinder us. Plus, we have enough food for the animal in the form of human meat, because it's not very interesting for people who can buy it and it's just stand idle. I decided that it would be nice to improve the defenses of our base a little and make an additional wall, and just at this time the ex-husband and ex-wife began to fight. If you take into account their strange relationship and several bad words about each other, I am not at all surprised that this fight happened. It is not surprising that the man came out of the fight almost without scratches, while the woman barely dragged her legs to her bed. But when the skirmish ended, I was able to continue playing the additional wall, and generally settled on such an option that would close the area of the solar panels and batteries from random enemies and their random shoots. Food was getting less and less. Because of this, as always, we started a big hunt. These times our targets were wild boars that live on the very edge of our map. My fighters systematically in several events and without any problems at all were able to bring enough meat to live for several more weeks. In the meantime, the rescued dog was recovering little by little, and as I planned, it joined a colony and was very easily trainable. I decided that it's time to make separate room for all the colonies, where they can enjoy their personal space, where no one will wake them up in the middle of the night or just disturb them to be alone in silence. To do this, I dug out a small part of the cave and completed the walls on the other side. In general, I don't really want to live in a cave because of the high probability of an influx of bugs. In general, bugs are not such a big problem, but only if you have enough people and heavy weapons that can penetrate the armor of large individuals. In the end, I started building 5 completely identical rooms. According to my plan, everything in these rooms will be exactly the same, so that no one feels worse than others. By the way, the space in the warehouse is getting smaller and smaller. Because of this, I decided that it would be a good idea to move the stone blocks on the shelves in order to optimize the free space and take away the debuff to the beauty of the room. Meanwhile, the frames of the room were already almost built. And it was at this moment that the raiders decided to attack us. It was time to test our defensive turrets on the enemies. I was so confident in the combat powers of the turrets that I didn't even set up a defense in the form of colonists. And I was right, my turrets destroyed all 4 attackers. 2 of attackers even survived. Also, they were seriously wounded. but unfortunately I managed to provide medical aid to only one of them. But it's okay, I'm glad that we will get at least some benefit from this attack. We have started laying stone tiles in our future rooms. And this is of course a good idea because this way we will get a significant bonus to the beauty of the room. It is also worth noting that the walls of the room are made of marble, which also gives a bonus to the beauty. And we also made a certain sketch of how the furniture will stand in the room. I hope that my colonists will be satisfied with the conditions that I want to give them. We were contacted by a space trader from whom we were able to buy a lot of useful resources. First of all, it's a lot of good mats. We also bought a super heavy anti-material sniper rifle, a barrel for our future mortar, and also 2 helmets, one composite, which is a bit better than normal steel, and also a cataphracterium combat helmet, which gives a lot of bonuses like 100% protection from smoke, and also plus 15% to the accuracy of fire. Again, we are attacked by an aggressive wild animal, which we kill with a single shot from a heavy machine gun. By the way, we finished cutting out the organs from our prisoners, so it's safe to say that we can now buy even more resources and weapons in case another space merchants contact us. And we also finally completed the construction of separate rooms for the colonists, and they have already moved into them. Therefore, it is time to strengthen the defense a little again by building another additional wall. After all, our rooms are located almost in front of the kill box itself. So, in order to increase security, it is better to have at least some kind of wall in the way of enemy bullets and grenades. Gazelles are now the targets of our hunt. In general, I plan to switch to growing food at some point, but at the moment the weather is too unstable and my colonists are too busy with other things. And by the way, 2 weapons fell from the sky, an automatic shotgun and a sniper rifle. To say that I was pleasantly surprised is an understatement. Now 2 more of my colonists have received weapons for self-defense and defense of our base. The nights are getting colder and colder. So I decided to install several heaters and make ventilation between the rooms for heat circulation. It is worth noting that for a long time we have had big problems with electricity and almost every night the energy runs out. And it is for this reason that I began to think about building a geothermal generator. But before that it needs to be researched. We bought a significant amount of plasteel and nitroamine. We will need these 2 resources very much in the future. A cargo animal that was left without a caravan got on our map. So I immediately sent my colonists to take what it was carrying. And the most valuable thing was that it had the best medicines in the game. So we did not sit long and sacrificed the life of this animal for the sake of our survival. And again, there was no space left in the warehouse, so I decided that it was time to expand our building. Of course, I could dig a rock, but as I said before, at this stage of the game I am very afraid of the swarm of bugs, because we are not 100% able to deal with them yet. Therefore, I simply completed a small room which I connected with their main room in which the communication console is located. In the end, we researched geothermal generators and started building them. Now we will never have problems with electricity. And also one of our colonists fell ill with fever mechanisms. In general, in the initial stages, this disease gives only bonuses. For example, increases labor productivity and so on. But later all the indicators fall below the normal, and plus the colonists will suffer from terrible pain. But I will try to compensate for everything in this proper medical care. We were attacked by 4 mad llamas. I decided that this was another reason to test the strength of our turrets. I was scared at first because one of my colonists was outside the base and the llamas were as close as possible to him. But when he managed to break away and reach the defensive lines, the rabid animals were destroyed and turned into fur and meat. The wall was built around the geothermal generator to protect it from random raiders who would naturally want to destroy it first. And somewhere at this moment, I noticed a huge deposit of steel in the upper part of the map. In fact, it will be very logical to collect them now, because sending colonies to the very edge of the map is always very dangerous, but in the later stages of the game everything will become even worse. Therefore, I sent all the colonies together so that they could quickly cope and nothing would threaten them. We were attacked by another large group of raiders, but in general, as always, this did not cause any difficulties at all, and we coped with this problem very easily. Because now we have battle turrets and plus all my colonies have pretty good weapons. And on top of that, we were able to capture 3 attackers, which in total will give us a lot of money. In general, we were very lucky that we managed to provide them with medical assistance, because at least one of them was one step away from death. And he is the most important part of this series. We were contacted by a space trader who had a lot of available resources for us. We cut out all the organs from the raiders that we could and began to choose goods from the merchant. We ended up taking some mortared ammo, also a heavy machine gun, a light energy machine gun, a cataphract helmet, armored jackets and pants, and 2 energy turrets as well. In general, the amount of money was simply huge, but the organs were able to balance the account and we did not incur almost any expenses. I immediately installed new turrets in front of the kill box and I'm already waiting when I can finally see them in action. Once again, I decided to increase the defense capability of our colony. This time I started building a fence line in the upper part of our base, right next to our geothermal generator. Overall, I think this is a pretty good decision and in the future my colonies will thank me for my decision. I decided to look a little into the future and start digging a room for our hydroponic farm. Unfortunately, at the moment I have not yet started hydroponics. But in general, this does not prevent me from preparing the room and leaving it until better times. Of course, I still keep in mind that there is possibility of an attack by beetles. But I think that at such a depth, you can still not be afraid of them. For now, thanks for watching, like, comment and subscribe to the channel. Also check out other videos on my channel. Johny was with you, goodbye.